Hi, guys. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. I love that song. I love my President Trump. Where's everybody? Trump, Trump, wow. Trump, 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 Trump. Join me.
That's a nice crowd.
Yes,
Thank
it is.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
This is Moms for Liberty. It's the Moms for Liberty National
Thank you so
Summit.
much. And it's an honor to
Hi,
be here.
Roberta.
This is a nice group.
Indeed. God bless
We just left Pennsylvania.
Trump.
We had a big rally and a big speech, and I said, "Okay, that's it."
Yeah,
for the
sorry
day.
I missed that.
Going to D.C. now.
I was on the beach earlier.
So it's when I heard exactly the group, I knew it anyway. But when they reminded me,
Arnie.
This is so important. The job you've done is incredible, really, and it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Mr. President, we just want to say how thankful we are that you're doing okay. What a scary day
Yes.
it was in Pennsylvania, and you are looking great, and we're so happy that you were able to join us.
Hi,
You and I were
Kathy.
talking a little bit backstage, and you were sharing with me a lot of the concerns you have about the border and what you're seeing happen with illegal immigrants across the United States. And I thought I'd give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about that to start off.
Sure, because you're talking about moms and you're talking about family, such a big factor for you, just about everything. And when you look at what's happening in our country, this is so tough. You know, it's one thing you don't drill oil or you don't do something that you can do with a new group coming in, but millions and millions of people, 21 million people, I think the real number is, that you hear 13, 14, 15, like that's not a big number, but it is, but 21 million people. And many of these people are criminals. Many of these people are coming out of the roughest countries in the world. And they're coming from all over the world. They're not just coming from South America. You know, everyone thinks they're coming from like Guatemala, El Salvador. They're coming from Mexico. They're coming from everywhere. I was speaking to the Border Patrol. They said in the last 12 months, 159 different countries were represented by people having come in illegally. And that's some number. But these are tough people. They're coming out of the jails. They're coming out of the mental institutions. They're coming out of prisons. And they're coming, I mean, they're just coming out of, there's a difference between a prison and a jail. It's subtle. But I say that they come out of mental institutions and insane asylums. There's a difference there also. And they're coming into our country at levels that nobody's ever seen. And I've been saying for 2 years that this has got to stop. I've been saying for longer than that, but for 2.5, 3 years, I said this has to stop. And now it's catching up with us. And you see what's going on in Colorado. I don't know if anybody got to see Aurora.
Yes, it's horrific.
I mean, they're taking over
It's coming out
the
of
city. They're taking over
Arnie.
apartment complexes. These are young, very tough people. These are tough. They make our criminals look nice. That's the only thing good about them. Our criminals are like nice people by comparison. And if you saw the Colorado thing, and this is happening all over, just not Colorado, but the Colorado thing caught the imagination because there were many of them with the biggest weapons that you've ever seen. And these came from Venezuela, which is emptying out all of its criminals. You know what? Venezuela crime is down like 72%. Because they're bringing all of their criminals from Caracas and everywhere else. They're bringing them to the beautiful USA. Thank you very much, Venezuela. We appreciate it. And we're allowing it to happen because we have open borders. And again, this is happening with every continent. We have Africa well represented, coming out from the Congo 22 people came in recently from the Congo. Where do you come from? We come from prison. What did you do to get into prison? We will not tell you. Bad stuff. And we have them here. No intention of bringing them back. None whatsoever. And they're all over the country. But now what they're doing, you know, if you think 21 million, so if you say a certain large percentage of them are bad, because when you empty out your prisons and you empty out your mental institutions, it's a lot of people. It's bigger than most armies are in our country, if you add them up totally. So we had 159 countries, let's say, but we have massive numbers of people. And what happened in Aurora today is incredible, because they basically have just taken over a swath and a building, and the people are petrified. The people living in the building, they're leaving. And when they tell the police about it, I mean, the police, you know, they don't need AK-47s. That's a very powerful weapon. I learned a lot about weapons over the last 6 weeks, I will tell you. There's a big difference between different weapons. But they're coming in with very powerful weapons. And the police, you know, you have a few policemen that are saying, wait a minute, we're totally outnumbered. Plus they have guns that are, you know, many times the power of what we carry. We don't carry rifles and machine guns and things like they're wielding around pretty freely and know how to use them. And this is affecting our schools, because we want to talk about schools. And they're taking over schools. We have MS-13 gangs. They're the toughest gangs, they say, in the world, probably are. I got them out by the thousands. I took them out by the thousands. Obama couldn't get them out because the country wouldn't allow them to come back in. They were putting airplanes, big airplanes on the runway, so you couldn't land the planes. They'd have to come back to the United States loaded up with these same people that they were supposed to take out. And I got them to take them by stopping aid, $750 million to different countries. And I won't go through the story too much, but basically I said, how much money do we pay to Guatemala and to a few other countries? And the number was $750 million, which is a lot, but it's not that much. We give so much money away, it's so crazy. To countries that hate us. By the way, we give a lot of money away every year to Afghanistan. Billions and billions of dollars. And I think that Harris and Biden, I always start now by Harris, a Marxist. She's a Marxist, by the way. People are finding that out. But she's a total Marxist. Her father's a Marxist. He's a Marxist professor. He teaches, I guess, the economy from a Marxist perspective, and he taught her well. But when you look at what was happening, you couldn't get the people out. And when I said, you're going to get these people out of here, the general came to me, sir, they won't take them back. Who won't take them back? The countries from where they came. And they would put airplanes on the runway. They block up the bus routes. They block up everything. So we'd bring them back, and you couldn't bring them back, Tiffany. So it's such a horrible thing. And I said, how much aid do we pay them, sir? We pay them $750 million combined. I say, that's a lot of money. That's a lot. Well, tell them we're not paying them anymore. It's effective immediately. Yes, sir. And they told them that. And the following morning, I come into the beautiful Oval Office, that Resolute desk, which is so beautiful. You know, now Biden goes around using that. He didn't even know the name of the Resolute desk. Now he talks, I sit behind the Resolute desk. He doesn't even know what the hell it is, this guy. That's a beauty. Boy, I tell you, did they do a coup on him? Anyway, so I said, tell him that's not happening. So the following morning, I get to the office and I get a call from 3 countries, let's not use names, and all very smart leaders. I'd be doing the same thing if I were them, to tell you the truth. I'd say, empty out my prisons, dump them into the United States. Don't ever let them back. And I would be doing it every bit as much as them. I don't blame them if they can get away with it, but they shouldn't be able to get away with it. So I said, you're not going to get the money. They call me up. They say, sir, I understand. And I know all 3 of them. I know all of them. I know all the leaders. They're all at the top of their game. And we have a bunch of dead weights, okay? We are being taken advantage of as a country so much. I've never seen anything like it. So they said essentially the same conversation. Sir, good morning, sir. I understand there's a problem, sir. You have to understand, this has gone on for 10 years. They wouldn't take their people back. They wouldn't take MS-13 back. They dumped them in our country, wouldn't take them back. I said, well, you know, you're sending them up in the caravans and other ways, and you're not taking them back. You're never getting any more money from the United States. Sir, we would like to take them back. We would love to have MS-13 back with us. We think they're such wonderful people. Anyway, they made it very easy for us to get them back, and we took them back by the thousands, and we took also a lot of others back. And then these clowns took over the country, and everything closed up. And by the way, they're paying them now $4 billion, I understand. Can you believe it? And they don't take them back. It's just so sad to see what happens. They're paying much more money than I was talking about. They raised it. They actually felt it was good to pay them more. They said, why? They said, economic development. It's not economic development. It's the development of a dictator. Because they keep the money. They're not doing any economic development. We have the dumbest people in history running our country. Okay? The dumbest in history. And we have to get these people. So we brought it back at all. But what's happening to our country is being poisoned, and your schools and your children are suffering greatly because they're going into the classrooms, they're taking the seats, and they don't even speak English. It's crazy. And we have our people that aren't going into a classroom. We have students that were there last year. They're not allowed into the school this year. They're not allowed. It's crazy. We have our veterans sleeping on the streets, and we have illegal immigrants coming into our country living in luxury hotels above where the veterans are. It's so reverse of what it should be.
So I know you love New York City. I'm from New York originally. My dad grew up in Brooklyn, in Flatbush. Yeah, New York. But like many other cities in America right now, it's a city in decline. You were in New York when Mayor Giuliani really did great reforms.
Right. He was such a great mayor. And, he also fought for a lot of things that he should. Hey, he was right about the laptop from hell. He was the one that came out. Rudy was right. Rudy was right about a lot of things. They have a hat. Trump was right about everything. But Rudy was right about a hell of a lot. He was right. He was the first one to see the laptop, I guess. And he revealed what was on there, and everyone hit him hard. He's actually a very brave guy, but he was a great mayor, and he took over the city when it was in really bad shape and very dangerous, and he made it the safest big city in the country, and made it beyond that. It was a vibrant city. And now it's got tremendous problems. And in all fairness, look, you have hundreds of thousands of illegal migrants here. How do? You can't run it. I read where they're spending billions of dollars. I thought New York had no money, and yet they're spending billions of dollars of money, and it's not given by the federal government. So how are they doing this? The city is suffering, and they're all suffering. No city can take in, when you think that 21 million people came into our country. That's bigger than New York. 21 million people came into our country. No. And we're going to have deportation at the highest level we've ever had. As a higher level, the highest deportation was a pretty moderate guy, but Dwight Eisenhower. He hated that our country was being swamped